welcome back to Algebra 2 class, Systems of Equations. This is the end of it. We won't do any more with it, but this is horrible, absolutely horrible. And I've already filmed this video once, and I did not make a mistake. I recorded it. The memory card was not full. The battery didn't die. I uploaded it to YouTube. It said it had uploaded. I chose my thumbnail and I let it go. And then I went to look at yesterday and it said video failed, and I'd already deleted it off the memory card and the computer because I'm limited space because I'm poor. So we're doing it again, and in the past video I said I wasn't going to do it again, but you're going to need me to do it again. And so we're going to do two problems. On page 154, I assigned you 1 through 10. You can only do 1 through 6 because each problem is going to take up at least a page, probably. So I don't want you to get too overwhelmed, and if you get 1 through 6 and you get the gist of it, I'm good with that, all right? So this is System of Equations, 3 unknown numbers. That means I have an x, I have a y, and I have a z. I put a little slash through my z because sometimes they look like 2's, and I don't want you to get confused. So we've only dealt with x and y, so z kind of throws a whole new element in here. So what you do, the first step you want to do is pick 2 equations, just 2 of them, and eliminate 1 letter, okay? So I try to pick the easiest ones, but in this case, I'm just going to pick the top 2. So I'm going to take these 2 equations, and I'm going to write them down here like they were the only 2 equations. Okay, so these are my 2 equations. Now I need to get something to eliminate. Alright, so pick the easiest letter. It's either going to be z or 4 because these don't have numbers on them, so it's easier to manipulate. Z or 4. No. Z or x. If you're in my class, you know I make mistakes like that all the time. My brain and my mouth don't always work together. I just tell the kids I have brain problems. Lost my train of thought. Alright, so let's just go ahead and make x disappear. Alright, so if this is a 2, this one needs a 2 so that I can subtract them and them to cancel out. So I need to multiply this top equation by 2. And that's going to give me, and I'm just going to write it above here, that's going to give me 2x, and then 2 times 3y would be 6y. 2 times negative z would be negative 2z, and 2 times 10 would be 20, okay? So I changed that top one, all right, so that it's 2x plus 6y minus 2z equals 20. As long as you multiply everything, you can always manipulate equations, but you have to do whatever you do to everything so that it stays equal. So now I have 2 and a 2, and since they are the same sign, I'm going to subtract them. 2x minus 2x, x's disappear. I have 6y minus 5y, which leaves 1y. I have negative 2z minus 4z, which is, I believe, going to give me negative 6z. Then I have 20 minus 57, which is going to give me a negative 37, I think. I'm going to double check my negatives there because I'd hate to mess up and have to do this all over again, although I'm fairly confident that one is correct. So that one is correct. Alright, so just because I don't have any faith in myself doesn't mean you shouldn't. So now I have an equation that doesn't have an x in it. I need to save this. I'm going to use it later. I need to do that again, the same thing that I just did with 2 different equations. I can't use the 2 same and get x to disappear again. So this time I'm going to use the top one and the bottom one. So up here, I will write, and I'll try to move out of your way after I write this. I've noticed on a few videos that I've blocked some of it, and I do eventually move out of the way, but then you can't actually see me doing it while I'm writing it. So I picked the top one and the bottom one because the top x is the easiest one to manipulate. So this is a 3, I need this one to be a 3. So I'm going to multiply by 3, and I'm going to get 3x. 3 times 3 right here would be 9y, and 3 times negative z would just be negative 3z, and equals 30, because 10 times 3 is 30. Okay, I'm going to subtract again to get my x's. 3x minus 3x, nothing. Okay, now I have 9 minus a negative 1. A double negative, a minus a negative, makes a positive, so that's actually 10y. Okay, negative 3 minus 2 now is negative 5z, and 30 minus 15 is 15. Okay, so once you have that, you need this other equation. We're going to use these two equations to solve for y and z, and then go back and solve for x. Okay, so now we have two equations that we can work a little bit better. This is why this is so long. And you want to keep your equations in alphabetical order. The y's need to line up with the y's, z's with the z's, x's with the x's on all of these, if I haven't said that before. So I'm going to line these up. And do my little swoop-de-doop. And now I need something to cancel out. So the easiest thing right here would be y, because I could multiply this whole thing by 10. So if I multiply this whole thing by 10, I will rewrite this one. And then 10 times y gives me 10y. 10 times negative 6z gives me negative 60z. 10 times negative 37 gives me negative 370. Okay? I'm going to subtract them, and this way I'm going to be able to figure out an actual number for z. Okay? 10 minus 10 is nothing, and now I have negative 5 minus a negative 60. That's really negative 5 plus 60 because of that double negative. So that's going to be a positive 55z. Then I have 15 minus negative 370, so that double negative again makes a positive. So that's really 15 plus 370, so I should have 385. We're going to divide by 55. And z, and I don't know where I can put these. We'll put our x, y, and z right here, is going to be, have a guess, I don't want to say it. And I didn't even type that in right. And my guess was off, so I'm glad I didn't say it. So z is 7. Now I'm going to take that z is 7 and I'm going to put it back in one of these two equations, okay, and solve for y. So I'll choose this one, and I'm pretty sure you can see this area here. So wherever there is a z, let me write z equals 7. I'm going to put a 7 there. So I would go y minus 6 times 7 equals negative 37. 6 times 7 is 42, so y minus 42 equals negative 37. I add 42 over to both sides to move it. You always do the opposite. And y is going to equal, what, 5? Double check. I don't trust my math skills. Yeah, 5. So y is 5. Alright, so now I know z and I know y. I can take these two things that I know and put them back in this equation and solve for x. So that's what I'm going to do now to get the third unknown number. This is problem number 1, so this is the easiest one on the page. So Lord help us. On y, it's 5 and z is 7. So I would get x plus 15, because 3 times 5 is 15, minus 7 equals 10. Alright, 15 minus 7 is 8, so that's really x plus 8 equals 10. I move my 8 over, and 10 minus 8 is 2, so x equals 2. There's my 3 answers of my 3 unknown numbers. Problem number 1. So sorry about that, guys. I'm going to stop the video and then cut back in. It's going to take me a minute to erase this to put the next problem up. Alright, I got one more example for you on page 154, which is problem 6. So like I said, if you watch the video, you only need to do 1 through 6, not 1 through 10, and I've done 1 on the board and 6 on the board. You also, if you want extra credit, need to be writing down all the video notes and turn them in with the assignment. That means that this 1 and 6 needs to be written separate, and then you got to write it again on your paper in order to get the extra credit and actually do the assignment. But alright, 3 unknown numbers, x, y, and z. Again, we're going to take 2 of the equations and eliminate a letter, and then we're going to take another 2 and eliminate a letter, and then use those 2 to solve it. So in this case, my z's look like the smallest, I guess. So I'm going to try to eliminate them. In the first one, I'm going to use the first 2 equations. So I will write 8x minus 5y plus 2z equals 53, and x plus y minus z equals 9. And now I'm going to use these to get rid of z. So this one is a 2, and I need this one to be a 2, so I'm going to multiply this bottom equation by 2. And remember, you multiply everything. So that's going to give me 2x plus 2y minus 2z equals 18. And I'll cross that one out because I'm not using it. Alright, now, this has a negative and that has a positive. So you're going to want to add them. If they have opposite signs, you add them. If they have the same signs, then you're going to subtract them. So let me get that out of the way. Alright, so we're going to add these down. 8x plus 2x is 10x. Negative 5 plus 2 is negative 3y. Positive 2 and a negative 2 cancel out on the z's. And then 53 plus 18 is what? 71? Yeah, 71. Okay. Then we're going to save this equation that is now missing z. Okay, we're going to come back to that. Now I'm going to use this one and this one, the middle one and the last one, to make another equation where z cancels out. So I'll do that up here, and I have x plus y minus z equals 9. Then I have 13x minus 9y plus 3z equals 71. Okay? Oh, that's a little ugly. Alright, z is what I'm focused on, so if this one is a 3, I need this one to be a 3, so I need to multiply this whole top by 3. 3 times x is going to give me 3x. 3 times y is going to give me 3y. 3 times negative z is going to give me negative 3z. 3 times 9 is going to give me 27. Okay? So now we're looking at this equation and this one. Again, I have a positive and a negative, so they're opposite, so I want to add. So 3x plus 13x is going to give me 16x. Okay? 3 plus a negative 9 is going to give me a negative 6y. The negative 3 and the positive 3 are going to cancel out, and then 27 plus 71 is going to give me 98. Alright? So now I have 2 equations that only have x and y in it, which is what I want. I take those 2 equations and I solve those like I solve the normal systems of equations, and then I plug that back in one of these to find z. So I'm going to take these 2 equations. Alright, and I'm going to solve them. So I need my x's or my y's to cancel out so I can solve numerically for an answer. And since the y's are the littler ones, those are the ones I'm going to work with. So this one's a 6 and this one's a 3, and I need them to be the same. So if I multiply this one by 2, it'll be a 6. So that's what I'm going to do, is change this equation. So I'll rewrite the top equation. And then 2 times 10 is going to give me 20x. 2 times negative 3 is going to give me negative 6y. And then 2 times 71 is going to give me 142. Okay? Now they're the same signs, so this time I want to subtract. Okay? 16 minus 20 is negative 4x. A negative 6 minus a negative 6, this double negative here makes a positive, so that's negative 6 plus 6, so those cancel out. And then 98 minus 142, I think it's just going to be negative 44. And then I divide by my negative 4. A negative divided by a negative is a positive, and 4 goes in there 11 times. So my first part of my answer, x equals 11. I need to find y and z. Let me get a quick drink real quick. Strawberry lemonade if anybody cares. Alright, so now that I have this, I'm going to go back in one of these equations, plug in x, and solve for y. So if I go into this one, and I do 16, and then x is 11, minus 6y equals 98. So 16 times 11 is 176, minus 6y equals 98. I move my 176 over, and I get negative 6y equals negative 78. Divide by negative 6. And y equals a positive 13. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So that is 13. So the last thing I need to do is find my y. And find my z. I found x and I found y. So I'm going to take the easiest out of the original equations, which is this one. And I need to erase just the spot here. So I'll go right here. And I'm sorry for the sound, but I need to make sure it's dry. Alright, so I'm going to take this one and I'm going to plug in x and y and solve for z. So x, that would be an 11, plus y, which would be 13, minus z equals 9. Well, 11 plus 13 should be 24. That's a positive 24, so to move it, I subtract it. And then 9 minus 24 should be negative 15. And then because these are negative, you got to divide by that negative sign, which gives me a positive z equals positive 15. So there are my 3 unknown numbers, 11, 13, and 15. Okay? That should be about the hardest that you have to deal with, since that's the last problem that you need to do. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day, and God bless.